Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about the legacy that is the 916. So sit back, relax, hold tight, and let's get into the video. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be talking about the legacy of the 916. Now, for all the people that are not Ducati fans or don't know what a 916 is, basically the 916 is the bike that started a whole lineage of gorgeous looking bikes. The 916 was designed by an Italian gentleman by the name of Massimo Tamburini in Bologna in the Borgo Panigale region. I presume I pronounced that right. If I haven't, I'm sorry. And this bike revolutionized what sports bikes are today. Obviously primarily Ducatis, but you know, some other brands did take a few design cues from the 916, but we'll get into that another time. So the 916, I'll throw a picture up of what it is in case any of you lovely people that watch my videos haven't got a clue. Like I said, it revolutionized motorcycle styling. It brought about a whole new era of motorcycle development, especially when you look at certain details like the single-sided swing arm, Desmo valve operation, and one or two other key features that are quite, you know, inherent to the 916 itself, and even down to this bike today. Not so much the newer Panigales, but the older bikes, everything that came after the 916. So the 748s, 996, 998s, 848s, 1098s, 1198s, all took their design cues from the original granddaddy of them all, the 916. And like I said, it revolutionized motorcycle styling for the best part, like I say, of 25 years. You know, throughout the years, Ducati have tried to step away from the 916 styling. In some cases it worked, in some cases it didn't. My case in point, the 999. Mechanically and, you know, functionality wise, it was good. Styling wise, fucking ugly. That whole generation, the 749, 999, that nearly bankrupted Ducati because no one bought it. It was the most unloved, unliked Ducati they ever made. That particular shape was absolutely hated, you know, by a lot of the purist Ducati owners. I mean, my history with Ducatis hasn't been brilliant. Both owning them, riding them, general maintenance, you know, sometimes it's my fault, sometimes it's the bike's fault, but that's a video for another day. Just going about the legend that is the 916. It was, like I said, I can't remember if I've said this already, but the 916 was, well, that generation, 916, 996, 998, was one of the most dominant bikes in both domestic and abroad motorcycle racing championships. It helped Carl Fogarty win 4 World Superbike titles. It helped Troy Bayliss win World Superbike title. It helped Troy Bayliss win the BSB title as well. Other riders like Neil Hodgson, Ruben Zales, James Toseland all had varying levels of success with that particular bike. But generally speaking, a lot of the riders that rode that particular generation of bike had quite a lot of success. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try and put together a little montage at the end of the video of all the different Ducati bikes that I've owned and the bikes that I've looked up to from a young age and stuff like that. Because like I said, when I first got into bikes and liking them, like just generally, I was 10 years old, and that's when the 916 was born, and that's when my love for Ducati started. And yeah, okay, some people might say I'm an idiot for liking Ducatis and owning them and riding them and whatever else, but in all fairness, I don't give a fuck. I love the bike I love riding the bike I ride. The 916, like I say, started a whole revolution when it came to the styling, the general thought process behind it, the engine configuration, the 90-degree L-twin, you know, all that sort of stuff all came about thanks to the 916. If it wasn't for the brilliant mind of Massimo Tamburini coming up with the styling he did, I don't think Ducati would be where it is now. I think they'd still be brilliant bikes, but I just don't think they would look as good as they do now. Thanks to Mr. Tamburini, he's the one that really brought Ducati back from the brink, in my opinion. And like I say, everyone has their own opinion, and I'm not gonna turn around and start poo-pooing people's opinions on Ducatis. or the styling of them, or how much they cost, or the servicing, or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the legacy, the bike that started it all for Ducati, the actual Ducati, the first proper Ducati revival, which was the 916. And you cannot get much more iconic than the 916. Granted, there are bikes out there that are classed as icons, like the Honda NC500, the oval piston V5 that they made many years ago, Suzuki with their Suzuki GSX-R, Yamaha with their R1 back when they did the Delta box thing. You know, every bike has their own, every brand has their standout iconic bikes. If you actually look back at things, like different bikes throughout the years, like different generations, like for example the Honda, was it NSR 500, I think it was, that had a single-sided swing arm, at least I think it did anyway. The Honda VFR 400, little pocket rocket, that had a single-sided swing arm. Some of the Honda VFRs of today, the 800s, the 1200s, single-sided swing arms again. All design cues, in my opinion, from Ducati. I mean, even Honda made a, was it the CB1000? I think it was, a couple of years ago. That again had a single-sided swing arm. You know, all these little design cues that other brands are taking from Ducati all started with the 916. But like I say, the 916 is the legend of Ducati. It is the icon, the inspiration that brought about so much for the company as a whole. And I'm not being funny. I don't know about you lot, but I personally cannot get enough of hearing those V-twin exhausts banging away underneath me. You know, this bike, my 748s, my 848s, all of them, every time I sat on one, or every time I rode it, or even just sat there looking at it, I'd always find something new to look at, something new to clean, something new to polish, a little nuance that I didn't know the bike had. You know, all these little things that Ducati do so well. You can't really go, I know you can go wrong with a Ducati because I've been there. You know, I've had the issues with things going wrong and maintenance issues and all the rest of it. I can safely say, hand on heart, and I'm going to get fucking slated for this, I know I am, but I don't care. If I could choose my dream garage, it would be predominantly Ducatis. It'd be one of these, an 1198R, a 748R, Panigale V4R, the Panigale V2, and maybe like an R1, like the old Big Bang shape R1s, and possibly a Fireblade. But that's not taking anything away from any other brands. You know, Aprilia make brilliant bikes, Honda make brilliant bikes, Yamaha make brilliant bikes. You know, I'm not taking anything away from them, but you know, as an icon, as an inspiration for a generation, the 916 is the one. You know, I could waffle on all day about how much I love the 916 and the shape of it, and you know, when you look at the bike from above, and I actually tested this theory out with this bike. I stood on a chair and I took a picture of it from above, and it looks like a supermodel. It's got the curves of a really slender, curvy woman, and you're going to think I'm going mad when I'm saying that, but it's true. This bike has the body of an 80s supermodel. You know, not these fucking stick thing birds that you see these days that look like they haven't eaten in about 6 months and they think they find themselves sexy and all the rest of it. No. I'm talking about a woman with a bit of meat on her bones. If I can find a aerial picture of a 916 or a 998 or whatever, I'll do that so you can see the comparison side by side from this bike to that. There's such a, you know, not a sexuality to the bike, but I would say there is definitely a level of sexiness to it. And like I said, granted, people will have their opinions, and you know, rightfully so, but the bikes themselves, yes, okay, they're inanimate objects, yes, okay, they don't have, in inverted commas, souls, but they do have personality, they do have character, and that's why I love Ducati the way I do. There's something so mechanical, there's something, you know, properly tactile. Do you know what I mean? I know it sounds like a really baffling thing to try and describe, but when you ride a Ducati, like I said, especially the older ones like this, the 748s, 916s, 998s, 996s, you know, the ones that have very little electronic input, it's an actual proper riding experience. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're sitting on a bike that's doing all the work for you. You have to put the work in yourself. You know, you have to muscle the bike around, fuck me, like that. And I can't stress this enough. If it hadn't been for Massimo Tamburini designing the 916 the way he did, I think the motorcycling world would be completely different. Styling would be different. You know, general curves of a bike would be different. It wouldn't be a sexy, slender shape. It'd be boxy, it'd be square, have sharp corners, like some of the Japanese bikes. I mean, like for example, Kawasaki's H2. If that bike was designed 20 years ago, for example, you'd be laughed out the fucking building. Because Massimo Tamburini designed the bike, designed the 916 the way he did, everything that came before it and after it had to live up to those expectations, which a lot of them didn't. So it's not like you were getting more or less for your money, but it'd be more of a case of you were getting the sexiness, the styling, the overall package. And yeah, okay, the 916 wasn't the most powerful bike on the grid. I think at its most powerful, I think it was putting out somewhere in the region of about 140 bhp, which by today's standards is nothing. 140 bhp today is 600 class. So for a bike back then to have 140 bhp or roughly that, and being able to compete with the bigger capacity 4-cylinders like I say, the Hondas, the Kawasaki's, the Yamahas of the day, was quite an achievement. And to win the amount of races and to win the amount of titles that it did, you know, it's just a testament to how good the bikes were designed, like aerodynamically, because what they lost in power, they made up for in agility. I think most Ducati owners will agree with that. May not be the most powerful bikes in the world, what they lack in top-end speed, they more than make up for in agility, which I'd love to demonstrate, but I can't thanks to the traffic. But the thing with Ducatis, well, any V-twin really, it's how it develops its power. And that's something that the desmodromic valve principle made very easy for Ducatis. Because the cylinders were narrow, the actual valve operation didn't take up as much room as what a traditional across the frame forward. It made riding it more easy. And also, on a slightly sad note, ladies and gents, I would just like to bring everyone's attention to the sad passing of Mr. Termignoni, the gentleman who started Termignoni exhausts in Italy, and again in conjunction with Ducati became one of the best known brands in the world. Sadly, he died this week at the age of 75, I think it was. So Mr. Termignoni, wherever you are, rest in peace. And for now, ladies and gents, that's it for today's video. So as always, look after each other, be safe, be good on the roads, and as always, adios.
That's how we do it.